Welcome back. If you are here today watching this, then you have started a journey that might be considered scary. But guess what? It's fun, and I'm here to help you navigate it today. My name is Bethel, and I like to share practical tips on how you can live a life of joy, peace, and bliss like you deserve. So, if you are watching this, you probably have entered what is well known as the spiritual awakening of your life, which is awesome, which is amazing. And at times can feel like someone pushed you down Alice in Wonderland's scary rabbit hole. Guess what, friends? If that's how you're feeling, you're not alone. So many people have done the same journey and survived. So many people are exactly where you are. And you're not crazy. This is scary, but fun. This is an awesome journey of discovering who you are and your life's purpose. And if you have entered this stage at all, you find yourself asking, there's something more. What is my life purpose? And it's fantastic. So, I'm here to explain the well known 6 stages of spiritual awakening. What stage are you in? What stages do you feel like you're bouncing around? Wherever you find yourself, awesome. Because remember, it is a journey. It is not about the destination. I overheard this quote one day that said, people who enjoy the journey take so many more steps than people who enjoy the destination. And if you want to learn as much as you can and you want to experience as much as you can, doesn't it make sense that you need to take all those extra steps? And it is awesome. Spiritual awakening is individual. It is yours. It is mine. Although we all experience some of the same things, and we get to come together to share those stories. And remember, especially when it gets crazy, maybe incredibly painful, that you're not alone. So let's get right into the steps. The first step is what I like to call your dissatisfaction. You've just taken everything for stride in your life. You've had maybe your life plan figured out. You knew where your 5-year goals are going to be. And you wake up one morning and realize, I don't really want to do any of this anymore. And you start realizing that things that you once loved were just not doing it. And so you start wondering what's wrong with you. There's no reason for you not to like these things anymore. Are you depressed? Probably not, because you are thinking and you're wanting to expand, but not really knowing what's going on. A lot of times, this first step comes from, unfortunately, a negative event, an illness, a tragedy, maybe some kind of physical challenge. For me, it came about when I had gotten a divorce. I found myself in my 20s and a single mom going back to college so I can complete my education for my 2-year-old child. And I needed a scholarship to help me pay for this school. And there was this one program called New Beginnings, which, didn't scare me at all, that would offer the exact amount of money that I needed so I could focus on taking care of my baby girl and go back to school so I could provide for a better life. And I said, why not? I would do anything to take care of my child. And I go into this little course, and there was maybe about 10 or 15 other people there. And the professor hands us all this one book called Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting, and tells us we need to read it within the next week. And If I would have known what would have happened as soon as I opened the cover of that book, I don't know if I would have continued. And I'm grateful for that. So, my challenge was being a single mom, and to be able to provide for my family, I was handed this book. And I have to say, every single belief that I thought I held dear, that who I thought I was, and the way I viewed the world was now being questioned. And I found myself starting to wonder even more about things that I had taken for granted. I'm going to tell you, I felt like I was pushed into the rabbit hole, that I didn't really w- want to do it myself, but that is okay. I am in control. I was ultimately making that decision, and I somehow survived. And you will too, if you are in this first stage of realizing that things aren't always like you thought they were, that Santa Claus doesn't really exist anymore. This brings us to where you start maybe going into stage number 2. Now, these stages do kind of overlap, so you got to be easy with yourself. So, like I said, when I started realizing there was more than what I always thought, and that's okay, I also entered the second stage called shift in consciousness. This is when I realized that maybe fairies do exist, that maybe everything my religious teachers had told me were lies. And I started being open to those around me. And that went straight, almost immediately, into stage 3, called exploration. Exploration is when you want to read and learn as much as you can. I was grateful that when I got pushed into the rabbit hole, I was handed that first book that I ever read about spiritual awakening. And I wanted the money for the scholarship, and so I kept reading. When I was done with that book, I realized there were things I still didn't understand, holes that were missing. So I wanted to read more. I wanted to learn more. Now, guys, if you can't guess, I'm not in my 20s anymore. And during that time, the internet was just starting to become a thing. For those of you that are just starting your journey in this world, I am so envious of you because there's so many things on YouTube. My 20-year-old self, well, I was a little bit older than 20, but even in my 20s, what was YouTube? I was completely dependent on talking to people and reading books and going to seminars, and I did the best I can. Boy, the way I see how YouTube is nowadays, it is a blessing for the exploration stage. Also, it is a wonderful thing to continue learning and reinforcing the concepts as we go. The next stage is the most wonderful stage, but it could also be the scariest. It could be some of the most painful stages and part of this journey that you'll experience. And this is called the dark night of the soul. And where that can sound scary, what do you always find at the end of a dark tunnel? A bright light. So, as you are going through the dark night of the soul, it is wonderful. You get to heal so much of the inner wounded, hurt child inside of you. You get to expand who you are. You get to break down so you can have the breakthrough that is coming. Think of it kind of like Phoenix rising, where you want to be this big, beautiful, glorious bird. But first, you have to burn and you have to get rid of all that other stuff so that beautiful Phoenix can fly. And that's what you are doing in this stage. This stage is one that a lot of times you will bounce back to throughout your journey. Even when you think you have become spiritually awakening, you'll learn a different level. The great thing is on this stage is once you've gotten through it and you get thrown back in it, you don't stay as long. This stage could be probably one of the longest stages that people stay in during their spiritual awakening, depending on how much trauma you have inside of you, how stubborn you are at healing, how much maybe ancestral trauma might come up that you get to have the amazing ability to heal. Maybe you have past life situations that you get to heal. So, as you are going through the dark night of the soul, you're going to continue to be in step 3 where you're exploring and learning to help you get through these times. But remember, you're not alone. That's when you are so blessed with YouTube to be able to open up and maybe watch a 10-minute YouTube video or be suggested about a book you can read. And as you start having those breakdowns so you can have that wonderful breakthrough, you're going to enter the next stage, stage 5, called integration. This is when you're going to start embracing all the stuff you've been learning through all the other stages. This is when you get to start shedding off your old skin and showing the world your new skin of who you are. This is the stage where you realize that you want to now discover your true life purpose. Maybe you have been a software engineer your whole life and you realize that doesn't work for you anymore because that's not what you came to earth to do. And you may not know what that is yet, but this is the stage where you get to discover that. And it's glorious. And you will continue to jump between the exploration and have more dark nights of the soul as you try to find your life's purpose. But it's okay because you don't stay there in those stages very long anymore. And you get to discover who you are. You get to realize you're larger than life or whoever you thought you could be. That emptiness that you have felt inside of you, like something was missing, is starting to feel full and complete and whole. You are sharing your light with the world and making change by just walking out into the world and smiling. You are in a wonderful phase. You are learning how to take all the stuff you've been learning and exist in this beautiful world. And as you do that, you realize you want to go into stage 6 of spiritual awakening, which is service. You are now so grateful for what you have learned in these first 5 stages. You are grateful for the blessing of this body and this world that you live in and this life you've been given and all the knowledge that you have. And now you want to give back. You either want to share the magic that you have learned with others, you want to help other people along the journey, or you want to do it in a different way. There are so many ways to serve this world and to help bring the new earth about. And that is where you find yourself on stage 6. That is where you learn pure joy and passion like you never felt before. That is where you have connections with friends and families that are deeper and stronger than you could possibly imagine. Your life is full of excitement and full of joy, and you are truly living your purpose. And then you get to continue to grow and expand. As long as you are an energetic being, you will continue to grow and expand. And that's the purpose. That is the joy. That is the blessing. And that is why I am here to help and lead and guide so we can all experience the pure blessing of being in service and enlightenment and growing and sharing your light and bringing love into this world. And it's a marvelous, beautiful journey. And I'm so grateful that we are on it together. Go ahead and share your comments below about what stage you're in. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. And remember, friends, you're not alone. Remember that this is a journey and it is marvelous and wonderful. And I see you and I cheer you on and I love you.